Hello and welcome to Sound and Melodies. In this episode we're going to check how we can sync our music composition to the video edit cuts. A little bit of it has already been done here, and I'm now simply going to look through the film and pick out important parts where we can bring the cut to the rhythm of our project. So let's start from here. The main thing that we have to know is that our tempo track is enabled, activated, and we need to have one signature track and we need a marker track, and all of them are set to musical mode here. This is linear time mode, this is musical mode, and we'll just check if the metronome is working. Alright, metronome is working as well. Now we're gonna just go ahead and play back and see where we need to make a cut detection and also bring it to the musical tempo. Okay, there the dance has changed a bit, but I am anyways going to do something around here. So what we need is, first we have to make a cut detection by going to timecode, and by going frame by frame. It is Control plus plus sign in the numpad, and it will move through the frames, and we can see that it's exactly around the frame, that it's not in the tempo here. So for example, if I wanted to bring this part to the tempo, now everything's set, I'd have to go up here in the warp grid, and then it should be set to events because we're moving things to the events. This is an event here, this is a bar that we want to move, so simply click here and move it to event. But now it's not snapping, so we need to add the snap on. So click and move it to the marker position here, and that will increase the tempo a little bit to match the changes that we have done. And for example, here is also something going on, and what I like to do is, if this cut is close to, for example, 2 here, so this would be 1, 2, and again 1, so now it's acting as 2 by 4 meter. So if it's closer to here, I'll move it here, and if it's closer to the 1 out of 1 2 1 2, then I'll move this over here. So depending on where or how much closer to the next bar it is, we make the changes accordingly. But now what's happening here is we started to move 2 by 4, so let's go back to this normal cursor mode, and I'd actually put 4 by 4 time signature. What happened is it went to 3 position. Then I can now put let's put it to grid, and now I'll put here 2 by 4, which will change from here until wherever we need. That is the main change, so that's where we need it. That can be in the nearest cut here as well, or nearest grid line, which is here. So I'm going to move this. Now we have to go back to time warp mode and to events, and I'll move it up here. There will be a sudden change in the feel of the tempo here. And we'll see how it will play out when we start composing music on that. And there's a cut that has not been detected yet, so I'll first go to timecode here, and then we'll go frame by frame and put a marker in this frame here, call it cut, and we would now need to go back to bars and beats, and now you can see that it's not exactly in the bar. So what we'll do is we'll move this bar, which is exactly at the 2nd position, and also we need to bring it back to events. And now we can just make it like that, and let's see. And if we want, now we can go back to 4 by 4 from here. but this came down to the second position. Maybe we stay with the 2x4, which kind of doesn't make any difference to this point here. What I do then is make it so that we have a 5x4 here. And then I can now come back to 4x4. That. Some frame change here, but let's see if the action changes. It's almost the same action there. Okay. We can put it the similar around there, but from here we need something. This movement needs to move kind of a bit back. So let's go back to the warp mode, and it's at 2, which is good because now we can just move it a little bit without changing a lot of tempo around. And now we can start making. At first, let's see if it gives any change here. Okay, so nothing's changing so far. So what I do is I'll just go to grid mode and make it 5x4. Okay, then from here we can go back to 4x4. If we stay in 5x4, still there is a lot of differences here. So we'll go back to 4x4 here, and back here we can come back to 3x4, and here we can move this now to the grid, or we can move the grid back, grid to here, to the event. Yeah, and we need to actually put it in events mode, and we're there. And we start to have some changes around here. So let's see how it can work in this portion. We could put it here 5x4 to end it, and then we can again move it to the event like that. And here we can put 3, 4, and would need to move this here. But if I move 3, 4, there's a okay, still looks good. Okay, here we need to make some changes. So with this action that she does in the here, in that action we can make it back to 4x4 again. This is kind of okay, but we'd still move it a little bit towards there. Okay. So there is a pattern emerging now. What if we put a 4x4, actually 3x4 from here? And what about the 4x4, which wouldn't work there? So what about 5-4 from there? Okay, let's see what changes occur. And we can come back to 4x4. This we can actually bring, it's right in the center. So I would actually bring this part over there. Like that. And the last frame I would put it in actually I'll put that here because it's the last frame. And I'll put it right next to the second event there. Alright, and this is how we can do the tempo mapping for the editing cuts in Cubase or Nuendo. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope it was something useful, and we will see you in next video.